Alright guys, it's going to be a pretty long video. It's about all the features that you can find in Legacy TV Guide. So let's open up the app. Alright, so these are my favorites. I'll show you how to set some in a second. First thing though, if you press left side, you get all of your channels. You can choose any channel that you want from here. If you're in this section and you hold in the center button, you'll get a menu on the right hand side. From here, you can change stuff going on in this section, or if what you really want to do is you want to go to, you can reorder your channels. If you go here, manage groups, this is where you can scroll down. You can hide or show any section that you want. So for instance, I don't have UK shown. If I click it, boom, then I go back over here. Now I have UK there. So if I hit this again and I don't want it, I go back to manage groups. Like that. Now UK is gone. So that's just one way that you can manage your groups. You can also, within manage groups, change the order that you want them on that side. There's tons of options that you can do here. That's the first thing. Now, let's go into, say we have a channel. I'll just pick this channel here. If you see the top right, there's a star. There's no color on that star. So then I press center button again. Well, I'm sorry. Press the 3-line button. Go to here. Add the favorites. Now that is lit up. And then when I go back to my favorites, that channel will be there. So that's how you add favorites. You go to the channel, 3-line button, add it to your favorites. So now I'm within my favorites. What can I do within my favorites? 3-line button again. Gives you all these options. If you go to this one, it looks like a broken link. Here's where you can manage all your favorites. There's tons of options here. You can reorder your channels within your favorites. I, myself, like all of my locals first. And then I simply just go in alphabetical order. You can manage them in whichever way that you want. And by doing that, so I went to manage, click on a channel, center button, and that takes it off of favorites. Or if I want to move my channels, I go back here, reorder channels. So say now, go on the channel, see I have ABC7, click that. I can move it wherever I want within my favorites. I'm going to put it back here. So that's, you can do that in any section. You can reorder your channels and simply press back to finish. It's really good. And then you can go here again and just same thing here. You can play with all of your channels. This will give you all the channels that are in New York, Nevada. These are all your channels in alphabetical order. So there's tons of options there. Let me show you guys how to update the playlist. 3-line button. Settings. Because whenever we add new channels or we add new feeds or links for live events, go to playlist. Update all playlists. And that'll update all. That means that your channels are now up to date. TV Guide. All right. I like to keep this one past days to keep TV Guide. I like to set that to just 1 day, because then it's only when it does load, it'll load it faster because it's only pulling from the past day. I always go to update on app start. That means that every time that you turn on your app, the TV Guide will automatically update. You can also update it on playlist change whenever you update your playlist. Again, it'll update your TV Guide. Or you can just go to Update TV guide, and that'll update it from at any point. All right. Let's get a little into watching TV and some features they have. So all right, so now it's on this channel. Obviously, to change the channel, press it once, puts it small screen up top, press it again, makes it large. When you're in the large screen, there's tons of features and options that you can do here. If you simply press back, it brings up your TV guides in that category section. So we're in my favorites, so now it's bringing up all of my channels in my favorites. Right? And you can press right, and then it'll bring you the option. Press right again, you can see what was on yesterday and what's going to be on tomorrow and at what time. You can also press the center button. This is great because this gives you all of your previously watched channels. So you can just press that center button and go to any channel that you watched recently. Again, center button brings up all of your last channels. Say you're like me and you're watching two different things, right? When your TV is in large screen like this, press the right side, and it automatically brings you to the last channel that you're watching. It's like the previous channel button on a cable remote. So again, press this button. It automatically brings you back to the last channel that you were watching. So you can just toggle back and forth by just one press of a button. There's also a search option in here. If you can't find a certain channel, 3-line button, search, and then you can search for any channel that you want, and then they will all be listed here. And then it'll bring you to all those channels. It'll give you a guide and tell you what's on. And you can pick the channel that you are looking for that is named that. So that's cool as well. All right. There's also an option for closed captioning. Again, large screen, 3-line button. Go over to closed captioning. Closed captions 1. Press this 2. And then all of a sudden, you can now have closed captioning. That's great if you want the TV on mute or if you're hard of hearing. That's also a feature that we have with this system. And again, to turn it off, just go back to closed captionings, off, turn it off here, and then you no longer have closed captionings. Other options. Settings. You can go into appearance. Show channel numbers. You can sort the guide however you want. Player option. I don't usually mess with the player option much, but there's things that you can do in there. Groups. Some people might like this. Font size. So if you're in, say, TV guide, we'll go back into settings, appearance, font size, very large, large. I usually keep mine on medium or small, but again, that's all of your preference. Obviously, the larger that it gets, the less channels that you will see here. That's pretty much it in appearance. Playback. Okay, there's some options here in playback if you're getting some buffering going on. If you click on buffer size, right, it says the buffer size determines the duration of video that must be downloaded to start playback. If you're getting a lot of buffering, you can increase the buffer size. Now, it might take longer for the channels to switch in between going from channel to a channel, but that could also help with your buffering, right? Video decoder. Again, if you're having buffering, you can toggle between hardware and software, and that can certainly help with issues of buffering as well. And a lot of this other stuff is just things that you'll never use. Remote control, you can you have some options of what different certain things do. Parental controls, you can turn this on, set up a pin for certain channels or certain categories, so that only people who know the actual pin can watch that. And then general, you can auto start the app, so when you turn on your Fire Stick, the app automatically comes on. I don't use that. You can set it to turn on last channel, so whatever channel you were watching last will automatically start to play when you do it. Confirm exit by a second back button. I always do that just because I like to know that it's closed, and that's pretty much it in general. TV guide, I already showed you the options there. All right, again, click on here. That brings up your menu. This will just show you what's on that channel. These are your favorites. You can block channels. You can hide channels. Other channel options. You can change the name of the channel if you wish. Say you don't like how it's written, or a channel changes, like when Spike changed to Paramount and we haven't changed it yet. You can do that on your own here. So that's just, other options there. I showed you what this channel does. All right, now let's get into what I like to do a lot with this is multi-view. So I'm in large screen. Again, I'll go back for you. Press that center button when you're in large screen. All these options pop up. Channel list, search, multi-view. Here's my multi-view. Press the center button. Add a screen. Again, I'm in favorites. I'll just add this one here. Press it again. Add a screen. Now, depending on how many lines you have active will determine the amount of screens that you can put up. But say you're watching football on Sunday. You can put different things on. Obviously, this one is highlighted now. If I press up, it'll do the volume of this one. Over, volume of that one. Bottom, volume of that one. So you can toggle between channels this way as well. Press the center button. It gives you other options. You can change the channel on that one screen. You can pause it. You can enlarge the screen, remove the screen, make it full screen. So say I want that one to be full screen. I just go here, press that, and that automatically makes that channel full screen. Press the back button, and it goes to here. I want to get out of here. I just remove screen. Remove screen. Again, center button. Remove screen. And then backspace, and now I'm back into my general thing. So here, again, center button. Closed captioning. There's a lot of options that you could do. Picture it in picture. Will put the screen that you're watching up on the top right while you're going through and trying to look for something else on the bottom. I don't really use that one much, but that's certainly something that you can use. Trying to see if there's anything else that I use here. Again, mostly what I use is center button, go to the last channels that I was watching, full screen, tap to the right, it brings you to the previous channel that you were watching. Press left, it brings up your guide of the category of channels that you are watching. You can scroll back and forth. And then you can just press the button and then it automatically goes to that channel. So it's a lot like cable in a sense that we have a lot of options that other apps like Legacy TV don't have, and you have the ability to keep the screen full while you're searching for other channels. I think that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any other questions, let me know. And we can certainly hope for a wonderful, great streaming day of watching some NFL playoff footballs or whatever it is that you want to watch. All right, guys. Happy streaming.